What the hell? I was walking on the beach, folks, actually kicking the phone round because it's really windy down there. Get this urgent phone call from Vaughan Winiata going, Max, we need to get on this show right now and I want to talk to you now. So, Vaughan, what the hell's going on? What's the panic?
Well, Max, first, thank you very much for leaving your walk in the fresh air and coming back into the office. But I'll quickly jump into it so we can get back to our weekends. No jab, no job, Max. It's doing my head in, bro. I'll tell you a true story. A police car, I live in Parnell, a police car recently pulled up outside a cafe in Parnell and cautioned a customer that was standing on the footpath waiting for his coffee, no mask, right? So that was all good. You know, this happens. But wait for it, there's more. The police officers then went over to the owner of the cafe, and I don't know the exact words, but the cafe owner said that she was lectured in front of other customers about her responsibility to manage and control customers in front of the cafe. Okay, there's a burden that small businesses have to carry, right? They've got to look after their public because apparently public can't think for themselves. But we've got now coming up when potentially we move into level 2 under the traffic light system, small businesses managing unvaccinated staff. So hence no jab, no job. And I was thinking about it, and I just think, Max, it's not good enough that thousands of small businesses are uncertain and confused on how to manage unvaccinated staff. And this particularly applies to those in the close contact areas, public, like hair salons, gyms, cafes. And here's why it's not good enough. The latest lockdown, and particularly for us here in Auckland, has seen livelihoods, family homes, retirement plans, future hopes and dreams literally erased from small business balance sheets. And that's before we throw in the hard to reverse mental health damage of the traumatic experience of something of this magnitude causes. It only takes one straw to break a camel's back. And so for the government not to provide absolute clarity around the vaccine mandate is, in my opinion, negligence as an art form. One would have thought that with 57,000 taxpayer-funded bureaucrats, a crystal clear vaccination mandate for small businesses would be doable. So, Max, can you do me a favour, bro? Over the next few minutes, I'll zip it. You have led New Zealand, the small business community, on this topic, no jab, no job. You've done a lot of webinars. You've put many hundreds of people through your webinars. So in the next few minutes, can you provide some useful guidance and advice for small business in an area where the government apparently has not? So I'll get out of here and over to you, Max.
Thanks, Vaughan, and exactly right. Look, yeah, I can do this, and it's been well received. So over 200 accountants have enrolled who registered to watch the webinar, and it's been well received because they advise small business. So it's a question that people are asking, what's my requirement as an employer in terms of vaccines and as a business? What am I supposed to do? The government are failing to give any leadership here. I can tell you very clearly, there has been a decision out of the Employment Relations Authority, which is what we need as a guide. Now, that guide said that that particular employer, was justified in dismissing an employee who was not vaccinated. So they had a policy. They looked for other alternative duties for them, and they said, no, there was a reasonable action there to dismiss them. Now, what does that say? It says that an unvaccinated person is a risk to the health and safety of others. Now, I don't care if you believe it or not, that's where the law sits. Now, there's another factor here. It's an implied obligation now. Wait for this, employers and businesses out there. You need to keep everybody safe in your business. The Health and Safety at Work Act says you do. Now, if you fail to have a policy, or if you fail to have a no jab, no job policy, or something like that, then you could be liable for prosecution from WorkSafe. My view is that if you had an outbreak in your business, they would come and sue you. Hence the policeman. The government would prefer businesses to do their dirty work. That's why they're not coming up with a decisive answer. Businesses, you've got not only a responsibility, you need not only for your own good and the people around you, but you also might have a legal obligation to do this. My view is the government will get WorkSafe to sue any businesses that have an outbreak on them in the future that didn't have a policy and didn't banish anybody from their business that wasn't vaccinated. Harsh, it very much is. But folks, you need to look after yourself here, and it's you, the business owner, that'll get done here. Now, one more thing. Just let you know, just to give you an example of how critical this government will go, if a business lets a person in there without scanning or without going through the QA code, Wait for this, 6 months jail. I've mentioned it a number of times to you, Vaughan.
What?
Yep.
6 months?
6 months jail for a business owner that doesn't lets a person in their business who's not scanned or QR coded. Now, this they take it the next step. There'll be no hesitation from the government to take an action against you, business owner, if you actually serve somebody knowing that they're unvaccinated. Harsh, very harsh. Is that
Max,
clear, Vaughan?
Oh, Max, I tell you what, it wasn't that difficult for me to be quiet for the last 2 minutes. It normally is, but that's gold. And to succinctly round it up from my perspective, from a small business owner's perspective, I guess the message we've got to put out there to our wider community, small business owners, if you have not reviewed your health and safety policy in and around this topic, you are skating on thin ice. And by thin ice, it sounds like 6 months inside. Is that thin enough for you? I mean, this is serious stuff. And you know what's really disappointing, Max, is that where is the leadership in the small business community that is saying, getting that across the board? I'll let a little thing out of the bag for you here. And it kind of is what started what's swirling around in my mind as far as this is concerned. I was in an EMA webinar yesterday and I put the question forward. The question got denied or declined. They didn't answer it for the simple reason it was probably outside the forum of what the topic was about. But I was walking away thinking and going, well, where can I find this information? So I did a quick Google. You know, it's not on the MB website. It's not on EMA's website. It's not on Business New Zealand or the Chambers. These are the apparent, advocates and leaders for small business. This sort of stuff, 6 months inside, I thought it'd be up there on the website. So I'm putting it up on mine, that's for sure. Yeah, Max, hey, really appreciate you coming
Every other legal mind I've been talking to totally agrees with me here. The decision's been made. It's a low-level judiciary. We'd prefer a higher one, but the facts are it's already there and it's law. So employers and businesses, you've got a message. Now, 3 things for a business to do. One is have a policy, a vaccine policy, like no jab, no job, no jab, no entry, something like that. 2, you need to assess each job you've got in the workplace to see whether it's a safety-sensitive role. So you may have a position, like you may be in a business like mine, where you actually don't interact with people directly. You do it online. There's no problem with that. I can deal with no vaccinated people, no problems. And the 3rd thing to do is consult with your staff. You must consult. Talk to them all the time and keep a record of it. Hope that's been helpful, folks.
Hey, Max, I really appreciate it. I'll let you get back to your weekend, and I'll try not to bugger you.
Anytime, my old friend.
Okay, have a good one. Catch you, Max. Bye.
He's trying to get the last word. I've got it, though. Goodbye, everybody. That's Max on the last word.